Sarah.
And I'm Carm.
And we're Essency. So, it's that time again.
Beginning of the month.
Which
Time for
means book club. If you've been keeping up and following along, which we hope you have, August, you were supposed to read If I Never Met You. And we did, and we have some great thoughts about the book, so let's get right into it.
So like we say in all of our videos that are about our book club, skip to the end for this month's book. But if you're ready for some spoilers, or if you have read the book of the month, here are our thoughts.
Yeah, chat with us.
Yeah, well, we'll give a really quick synopsis. So basically, If I Never Met You, the tagline is, if faking love is this easy, how do you know when it's real? And I'll just give you a little bit of a read. When her partner of over a decade suddenly ends things, Lori is left reeling. And not only because they work at the same law firm and she has to see him every day. Her once perfect life is in shambles, and the thought of dating again in the new age is nothing short of horrifying. So let's leave it at that. Basically, this is a story of a woman who has left her long-term partner, or she's in a breakup, and in this new world where she hasn't been dating for close to 2 decades, she now has to tackle life and tackle love, and as a biracial woman, figure out these things along with everyday life that she deals with just being a woman of color. So let's get right into the book club questions. And I'll just remind you very quickly that the questions that we use for Essency Book Club are linked down below, and they're on the blog. So we'll leave all that stuff in the description box below.
So let's get into question number 1. Which event in the story causes all others? So you go first, because last time we had a debate about this one.
I said Lori and Dan's breakup is the inciting event of the story. From their breakup, we develop the plot line of Jamie and Lori's plan to fake an office romance for personal gain.
Okay, so I said a little different, right at that same time, but I just said that the event that caused all others was the moment that that Dan tells Lori that he has met someone else and that they're with child. And I said this moment sparks a change in the book's plot and sets its course for the ultimate climax and conclusion. Yeah. Up until this point, Lori feels as if Dan needs time to be his own, and considers it as a reasonable demand for somebody having spent 18 years with each other. Lori,
and that there's the possibility
of them getting back together. So, and it kind of like it kind of like even in the book itself.
But I think, and I'll say, I'll cut you off to say what I think. He wouldn't have been with somebody and gotten that somebody pregnant if they didn't break up. Because if he knew, and Lori
You don't think eventually he would have cheated on her? Like with the running and stuff like that?
No, that's why he was so racked with guilt and had to do it that night. I don't think so. They were having an emotional affair, but I don't think he would have done the physical affair. He was in love with Lori, but he wanted more. But he wouldn't have physically cheated on her.
Okay. And then I also said, kind of made the point that visually in the book, it kind of looks like the inciting moment too, because
that's when she decides revenge is what she's going to do.
No, but also it's like that 2 months later, like,
oh yeah, that's true.
Like it
no,
kinda,
but I say
okay,
I'll go back to like, and we'll always
because it's like, and I'll be like, for us it's like what changes the book. Yeah, I know.
And you're like, well, and I'll be like, well, that wouldn't have happened if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but this is what I think is the peak, or like not that cusp.
Yeah, of it.
Of the peak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, it's like very similar, like you saying breaking up, me saying it's the fact that he said that it was this.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah.
So question number 2, what is the book's climatic scene and how does the author build up to it?
So I'll go first with this one. And I always address that second part of the question, how does the author build up to it, by addressing the turning point.
Yeah.
That's always something I've always done, because that's literally what, the turning point is what leads to the climatic.
I'll be like, answer the question.
Yeah, okay. So, the turning point. The turning point in the novel comes when Lori comes to accept herself without having a part of herself being defined by a man's involvement in her life, learning to say goodbye to both Dan and her father. The climactic scene takes place outside Lori and Jamie's office. Having just been in a meeting with their boss about their false relationship, the two fight on the sidewalk, unable to say what they want to tell each other. Rather than apologize to one another, they go their separate ways, leaving many issues unresolved. The author leads to this scene by having multiple co-workers within the office make claims to why they are against the union and want to see it fail. Many rumors circulate about the couple. Finally, the revelation comes that the romance was fake and started with both Laurie and Jamie entering the relationship as a way for personal advancement. Jamie in his career and Laurie in her relationship with Dan. Of course, by that time, the intimacy between Laurie and Jamie was legitimate. It didn't stop Jamie denying the romance ever started as a way for Laurie to keep her standing in the company. Thus, the fight ensued. The author foreshadowed this inevitable attraction and separation as Laurie's friend Emily warned her that lying has unforeseen consequences. Throughout the novel, Laurie fixates on this warning but exhibits no sign and willingness to change.
Yeah, actually, I said the same thing.
Oh, wow. Normally,
yours is much more in depth. I just said the climax of the story.
Normally, we never agree. Actually,
yeah,
the exact
about in the morning of the office when the email. Okay, so it starts with this is how it's being built up. The email outlining the entire plan between Laurie and Jamie to a fake romance was forwarded to the entire address book. The pair is confronted by their bosses. Jamie is fired. Laurie confronts the office mean girl, and the two fight outside and call off the relationship.
Oh wow, we never normally agree on the exact moment.
Yeah, well, this book is pretty clear cut, so
okay.
Yeah, moving on.
I love how that was your way of explaining you're right and all the other ones.
No, there's nothing to debate because there's no really wiggle room in this book.
What if I had come up with a different answer?
You're wrong. No, I'm joking.
Number 3. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
Can I say it? Okay. Does the book's ending resolve the plot? If it doesn't, do you think this was intentional? What else do you want to know?
I'll go first.
Yes.
Yes, this book very clearly resolves the plot. Our characters settle the past and move on to their happy ending off in the sunset. One thing I wish I could change about the ending would be for Laurie and Jamie to not get engaged and hurry to marry, but I understand why McFarlane wrote it so.
So basically, I just agreed with you on the fact that it came full circle and that it was a nice story about... There was no, false hopes with this book. You knew what it was going to be about. Right away, you knew that they were going to end up together. But the one thing I wish was that the author addressed what Jamie ended up doing for work and whether or not Laurie got the promotion and told the guys at her job to shove it. I would have liked to see, instead of them getting engaged, I think, a more, happier ending for me would have been
them addressing
owning it. Yeah,
them taking the confidence from this relationship that they have been able to accept. And taking that and pushing that kind of confidence into their career.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't have ended it with an engagement and a marriage.
Yeah, because so much of it was about their careers and about how it was a toxic work environment, and that would have been a more uplift, a better you go girl kind of thing, because this whole book was about that, from her montage of getting a makeover and everything. It was just so empowering, and it's you get what you want in life.
Yeah.
And for the fact that okay, she got engaged, but
and there's nothing wrong with being a girl that gets engaged.
No, but it's just you had the opportunity to claim that promotion
and
put all those other guys in their place, tell Jan to
because now it's just another book that ends with ends with them finally getting to accept their relationship. Yeah, okay, we agree on that anyway.
So number 4, wow, we're already on number 4.
Yeah.
How might the story be different if it was from another character's point of view? So I said, if the story were told in Jamie's perspective, the story would have been about the tangle of stories he gets himself in at previous employments, and how this job would be a fresh start. He would be overcompensating to make his parents proud, not having come to terms with the fact that he is not responsible for his brother's death. Wanting to make partner at his new firm when the opportunity appears to have his name associated with the firm's best lawyer. He enters the fake romance as she's coped with her ex-relationship. Jamie quickly realizes he's falling for Laurie as the two spark an unlikely friendship based on helping each other heal.
Yep.
And then if the story were seen through Dan's point of view, I'm afraid that it would be a lot more cynical. It would be. It would begin with him meeting Megan, sharing that common interest in running and finding the right way to end things with Laurie. But after telling his ex-girlfriend that his current girlfriend is pregnant, he convinces himself that he is over Laurie, not expecting her to
move on.
Move on. Thank you. He believes office rumors and places pressure for them to end this fling to save her reputation, all while he's preparing for fatherhood with Megan. In a staged attempt to see Laurie once more before the baby shower, he goes over to their once shared home where he finds Laurie just having said goodbye to Jamie. Having to confront the seriousness of their relationship, he says a final farewell to Laurie. He learns to find pleasure in his new life he built for himself and deals with regret of having given up Lori.
That would be like a depressing.
Yeah, it would be like
Death of a Salesman-esque.
Yeah, modern telling.
It feels like he's had to give up everything.
Yeah.
I said, because the story was written in third person, I think McFarlane did a great job of objectively detailing the sequence of events and the emotions she hoped to tie to them. However, we would have read a very different story from the perspective of Dan, but it's definitely not one I would have wanted to read.
No.
Something I most enjoyed about the book was how McFarlane was able to tell the tale while tying in the other matter that makes up the daily lives of our primary characters. This was something I really appreciated in the story, because it is a story about a woman of color working in a law office that is predominantly a male environment with, white male and traditional stereotypes and archetypes and people. But also there were random chapters, and not random in a good way, but where you would just hear the banter of the office or heard the chatter and talking about their families and their weekends and that they even brought in. Emily had this weird experience with a Tinder date a bartender that she went out with. Things that didn't have anything to do with Lori as a colored woman.
Or Jamie or their relationship together.
But just things that make up life.
So real and grounded, and it's like, I've never been through that with a friend. I've never had a friend call me because their Tinder date kind of harassed them. Yeah. But you can see that happening. Yeah,
and then there was I was reading a review of the book because I was interested to hear what other people had to say about this book. And I'm going to take up a little snapshot of what she wrote in her review. And actually, she was kind of using it against the book. She was saying, all these things that kind of convoluted the point, I actually really liked. But this is what she said. And I'm going to use it towards my point. So I'm taking it a little bit out of context, but I really like the way that she put it. The story deals with the relentless sexism and entitlement of Lori's colleagues, to the terminal cancer diagnosis of another character, to the tragic backstory involving the death of a brother when they were children, to racist microaggressions. The story does a great job of looking at grief and guilt and how these things shape us, and also showing just how exhausting and draining it is to deal with the sexist and racist bullshit on a daily basis without making it all a teachable moment. The person who wrote this review was hoping to, if you read the review, and I'll link it down below, was hoping to say that there were all these things that they did a good job of not making it all these teachable moments, but it was too much. And in my opinion, that's life. Life is too much sometimes.
And it's like, it feels overwhelming at times, and that's what it felt like to Lori.
And to me, it wasn't. It wasn't overwhelming.
It was very natural.
It was very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people whose brother have died and they're dealing with other trauma, and you might be a colored woman.
And they just got died, and their father just got died.
Yes, that happens. Yeah. It's not that far-fetched.
And the very same day, you're confronting your absent father, and you come face to face with your assault. These
things literally happen. So to me, it wasn't convoluted. It wasn't messy. And it wasn't overdone.
And when you look at it that way, it's a very beautiful message, because these two find each other and help each other through.
And they're professionals. And they're doing very well in their careers.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And they're not hindered. And even if they have their bad days, life goes on.
Yeah.
So actually, I really appreciate this book, and I'm somebody who isn't one for books that go off course too much, because there are books that do go off course, but this one was just done in a great way. Okay, moving on.
I know.
Because that question we kind of got off, but...
Does the story have an antagonist or villain? What traits does the character reveal about the story's hero?
In my opinion, there wasn't one specific antagonist or villain. The villains in this story are the characters that make Lori question her worth or doubt herself. This being mainly Dan, her father, her colleagues, perhaps even Eve or Megan. Their presence and actions reveal Lori's sensitive nature, but also reveal her perseverance and tenacity.
So yes, I said Austin, Dan, and Michael. And I said all three men have been a source of abuse in Lori's life. Austin has been a negligent father to Lori, abusing his relationship with his daughter by confining it to only what he wanted it to be and not offering what she needed him to be, culminating in the fact of her sexual harassment with his friend. What was his name again?
Pete.
Pete, yeah.
He's called Pete.
Yeah.
You're called Pete.
And then when she was 8 years old, Dan had been an emotional abuser, using Lori's unwavering support as a way to improve his life, but never returning the favor until he ultimately decided he just didn't want her anymore. Michael is simply an arse. I put LOL in writing. But in all seriousness, Michael is an antagonist. He harasses Laurie from the beginning of her relationship with Jamie, claiming some sort of dibs because he had a crush on her first. Many of the men in the law office feel this way, but Michael vocalizes it. Ultimately, Michael is the one who pushes the plot forward by sending Laurie and Jamie's private email out about their fake romance to the entire office. And as a result, Jamie's fired, Laurie is reprimanded, and the couple temporarily split.
So 6, are there any particularly striking visual symbols in the book? What do you think they represent?
So I didn't pick up on too many symbols in this one, not as much as all the missing girls.
We had like a dozen.
I think I only really came up with 2, and the first one was the glamour of Manchester, the painting, or it's actually like I had to look it up because I wasn't familiar with what it was, but it's like a tile mosaic at the restaurant that they were at.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah. So I said, appearing at the start and end of the novel, first when Laurie runs into Jamie and then again when the two are newly engaged, I think that this title work, based upon the cover art for the book D.L. Keller, the book romanticizes the glamorous history of the city. The author's obvious love for the city together with his dry wit makes for an amusing read, and he sums up the final page saying, I've written down my Manchester as I saw it, and seeing it is often worse than believing. So kind of like what the book and what is the mosaic tiling, what it represented to the author, what it represents to clearly the city of Manchester if they tiled it in one of their busier cafes. It's kind of like it signifies the start and end of their own relationship. And the city, like their love and the city of the love, it's like a parallel there.
Yeah,
and
but not the start and end, because they're...
Not the start, no, the start and end of the book and their beginnings. Yeah, I should probably say. And then I said Piccadilly Station. For Laurie, Piccadilly is a place of familiarity and refuge, but it's also a place for their new adventures and her experiences with Jamie. The fake salad word artwork that Emily's, I kind of explained it as this is the manifestation of the theme of appearance versus reality. It's this graphic word made by Rob, Emily's fling, that causes Emily to seek out Laurie as she lists the vain activities she's a part of, from her dyed hair to her shellac nails and dieting, as Rob picked on an insecurity for Emily. As Emily adds to her list, Laurie connects the irony of how this applies to her life more with the development of her fake relationship with Jamie. Is this symbol that is closely related to the theme of sisterhood. In the novel, Laurie uses what Emily's hookup made to create Rob hates women as a way to bond with her friend and get Emily through a sad time.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of that one because the only thing that I could really come up with was, and it's not really a visual symbol, it was more of a motif, but social media. Because I think it was supposed to represent distorted reality and how not everything is really what it appears to be as it is presented online for the rest of the world to view.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So we're on question 7 already. If you were making this book into a movie, who would you cast in the lead roles? So for Laurie, I suggested Gugu Bathamra. Who did you put down for Laurie?
Nathalie Emmanuel, which is the actress that Mhairi McFarlane suggested.
Oh, okay, the one from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I picture actually somebody a little bit more curvy than that actress.
Yes, yeah.
If you know who that is, it's...
Yeah, I know who she is. She was the hand lady to the dragon woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so who'd you pick for Jamie?
For Jamie, I said Josh O'Connor as Jamie. And
let me see. Yeah, I have all of mine.
I know who
already.
he's from, I think. He's from The Crown.
Let me see it.
You see one picture and then you see a different one and you're like...
Oh, okay.
He's supposed to be like dark haired. And see, that's where I didn't like
I picked William Moseley.
Because he was supposed to be dark haired.
I thought he was supposed to be gingered.
No. He's supposed to be... They did
That's misleading.
Yeah. He's supposed to... And his mom
because like once you have an image,
like Victoria Spice hair, like sharp brown hair. And and then Laurie said he looks exactly like his mom.
Oh, see, like once you kind of have an image in your head, you kind of... Like, I skimmed over that kind of stuff.
But now
I do that all the time.
I only saw one picture of him, but now I'm looking at it and I don't think it is right. Because now he seems a little too of a smiley guy.
This guy seems really, like, I don't know. I know the hair is wrong, but he seems like the type.
Yeah, he would be better. I like yours better. Again, I like yours better.
Okay, I actually went really into this because I really wanted to become a movie. Like, it took me maybe an hour to answer this question.
It's funny.
Okay, so who'd you pick for
Emily?
Emily. I think you're gonna like mine.
Okay,
She's supposed to be blonde, big-eyed, right?
Oh, blonde? I thought brunette. Yeah, okay, so this girl, she is from Last Christmas with Amelia Clark. Her name is Margaret Clooney.
Oh, okay. Okay, I went in a really... Oh, that's not the one. I thought she was blonde.
That's a good one if she was blonde.
Sasha Parkinson.
And what's she from?
A lot of English TV.
Okay.
Oh, all of my actresses, I made it a point to try.
Yeah, me too. Okay, who'd you pick for Dan?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, that one.
I thought so. No, because he seems smug. Like he seems
Alan
like
Leach. My guy's name is, and he's from Downton Abbey.
Okay.
A round face, good-looking guy though.
Well, yeah, Daniel Radcliffe's good looking.
No, but he was also supposed to be very light features and almost like just a basic Manchester guy. Whereas Daniel Radcliffe, he has dark hair, dark eyebrows. He's too recognizable. This guy was supposed to be, Dan was supposed to be somebody that...
More plain?
Very plain. To the
but
point...
this guy's...
No, I don't agree.
Okay, fine. Like, I do like yours better looking at him. Okay, who's your Megan?
And my Megan, it's funny because I actually reused one of the actresses that we've already used in
Oh, really?
Yeah, Karen Gillan, and I think we casted her in our All the Missing Girls. What's her name again?
Charlotte Spencer.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I'm
no, on that picture, and I'll pop it up on the screen. Yeah, that's Megan.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
No, okay, so it's funny. So then I like all of yours except your Dan.
Yeah, and I think I was
Dan is better.
Dan was the last character I wanted to cast, and I'm not joking. Like, I spent so long trying to find the perfect characters. Grant you, though, I can't remember if Emily's blonde or brunette now.
No, that I can't.
Because that will make a big difference. Like,
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of movies, if you enjoyed this book, please consider watching The Wedding Date. Set in England, the film follows Kat, Deborah Messing, who stars as Deborah Messing, the maid of honor at her younger sister's wedding, who's played by Amy Adams, where the best man is her ex-fiance, and through the week, to get through the weekend with dignity, Kat hires Nick, a professional escort, to impress her family and ex.
Okay, so last question. What is your favorite moment or quote?
Okay, so I always go with a favorite moment. I can never pick like one like set dialogue.
Yeah, and I always pick a quote, I think.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in the novel is when Laurie calls Emily to say that the person she was destined to meet that night at the freshman Halloween party, was her, not Dan. Also, any part that effortlessly speaks to white privilege, from having strangers ask you where you're from and calling you exotic.
Wanting to touch your hair.
Yeah, wanting to touch your hair, to worrying about your hair care, and asking if your boyfriend's parents have an issue with your skin color.
Yeah.
The author did an excellent job of incorporating the small differences in a person of color's life from that of a white person's.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite, like, actual moment is the one with her friend.
That's a good one.
What'd you say?
My favorite quote was, in the letter Jamie writes to Hattie about Laurie, I keep thinking if I'd never met her, how different things would be. I scoffed at the idea anyone could make me see my life through new eyes, and I'm so, so glad I was wrong.
Yeah, that was really cute. The book was so good.
Yeah, it was.
It was really good.
And I wish I didn't read the last 2 pages, because I could have ended it there at the station and them being like, so we were both wrong? Great. Yeah, let's do this.
Sure. Yeah, let's go to your families for the holiday.
Day. Yeah.
I know.
All right.
So,
that was the book.
That was the book. Next month's book
is...
You forgot about that part, didn't you? Next month is The Lies We Tell Ourselves.
Okay, so let me see, because you've started it already?
Yes.
I haven't started it yet. So this is by Robin Talley, Lies We Tell Ourselves. We round the corner, across the street, Jefferson High School sweeps into view. The white people are spread out across the front steps and the massive parking lot. Now I know why we could hear the crowd so well. There must be hundreds of them, the whole student body, all standing there waiting. They're watching us. They're shouting.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be appropriate for current events.
Yes.
So I'm excited to give this one a read. There's not much more I can say about it. I don't know exactly what it's about because that's a very cryptic.
Let's leave the suspense there because so far I'm loving it.
Yeah? Okay. So it says a beautifully written and compelling read. I'm very excited for it. So you guys will have to tune in for the next book club.
month.
This is going to be a good one, I think.
I think so too.
Okay, so if you guys...
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys liked the video, please don't forget to leave us a comment. Tell us if you liked it, what you'd like to see next. And other than that, hope to see you soon.